Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And wow, the wheels are falling off the ANC ox wagon, that's for sure. And when I talk about the ox wagon, I talk about how they are killing the economy, the speed with which the economy has just been ground to a halt. The old Maserati that was bringing the economy forward back in 1994 is now an ox wagon, and it's now only got one wheel. And you'll understand what I'm talking about when you hear this first video clip. And I'll give you a little bit of background here. Firstly, on Sunday night, I'm going to be talking to a fellow who's directly involved in the scandal that was exposed just yesterday, last night, by ANC veteran Tokyo Sexwale. Okay, Tokyo Sexwale got up in front of the media and blew the whistle on a fund called, and you can't make this shit up, it's a fund called the White Spiritual Boy Heritage Fund. Now, it's in short, it's called a WSB Heritage Fund. Now, you think, all right, here's a heritage fund. Might have, a few $1,000 in it, okay? No. In Tokyo's own words, he says the amount of rands sitting in that one bank account, which was at the South African Reserve Bank in a special bank account, started with 12 zeros. 12 zeros equals billions of rands was sitting in the special fund that had been put aside to help the poor in South Africa. I'm talking about the people who live the squatter camps, the townships, people who need housing, the poor. Guess what happened? The ANC cadres, ministers, members of parliament, suggestions have been made that Ramaphosa himself had his hand in the tin. Thought they could get away with it, and they nearly did. And Tokyo Sexwale stood up in front of the world yesterday and said, I'm not going to let this happen. And in the short video clip I've got attached here, you'll hear one of the Reserve Bank shareholders who happened to be attending the special press conference saying, thank you. I have been trying for years to alert people about how this money is being misused. I have actually gone to the Sandton police station myself and actually lodged a complaint. And no one will look at it. But now that it's out there, thanks to you, to Tokyo Sexwale, they can't dodge and dive anymore. This is confirmation from a member of the South African Reserve Bank shareholders. This involves pretty well the entire ANC hierarchy in government. Right up to the top, right up to Ramaphosa. This is huge. As I say, Sunday night, I'm going to be talking to the whistleblower who's very, very involved in this. We're going to be unwrapping and unpacking what's happened to literally tens of billions of rands that was put aside for the people who live in poverty in South Africa, but was basically stolen by the ANC politicians and cadres. It is a huge, huge story. Here comes that little clip, and then after that I will play the entire 2-hour press conference that Tokyo Sexwale had with the media. It is mind-blowing. But this tiny little clip here kind of sums up when he says the crime scene is inside the Reserve Bank. Believe it or not. Here comes that little clip.
And you also have, not just me here, as a target, a responsibility to help investigate this. These questions must be asked of these people. I'm here to say something has happened. I'll shoot the messenger. Something happened here. But hang on.
What is your reaction to the fact that they say there's no such an account under their care?
I said in public, there is that account. And I've told you where it is. My reaction, I'm saying, there is that account. And I've told you where it is. For the first time, you've heard where this money is. That's my answer to you. Next.
Mr. Sexwale,
yes.
I'm hoping...
No, there's a gentleman there.
Comrade Sexwale, I'm Fani Formson and a shareholder of Reserve Bank. And I confirm in front of everyone that that accounts exist.
You're a shareholder of this bank.
Of Reserve Bank.
Of the Reserve Bank, yes.
I confirm that that accounts exist. I confirm the quantity of the money exists. And you, if you follow the press, you also know that I...
Are you the people who went to Central Police Station?
Yes.
To report that there's a shenanigan there?
Yeah.
Yes?
So I myself has also opened a criminal case on the same matter. Also being prevented for years to disclose it within the Reserve Bank. And for the Reserve Bank to take action on it.
What? You're a shareholder of the Reserve Bank?
Yes. So I congratulate you on taking the stance to open it in public. And I thank you for that.
Well, there you had it. Or there you heard it. Now, in the lengthier video clip that's attached here, you will hear Tokyo Sexwale starting off his conference, giving you the background, giving you all the information. And the only question I have for this guy is, why did it take him so long to expose Ramaphosa and the rest of the ANC over a huge amount of money that's been mismanaged, stolen? This is a huge scandal, especially seeing the money has been stolen from the people who need it most in South Africa, the poor. And you'll see it during this entire video where there's reference being made to, where did this idea of free education in South Africa come up? Well, the money in this WSB, the White Spiritual Boy Heritage Fund, huge amount of money, was supposed to be allocated towards providing free education. But of course, the hands in the till cleaned it out before anyone got a cent. It's absolutely extraordinary. All right, guys, please remember to register on Loving Life on YouTube to be kept informed. Please remember to subscribe or register on lovinglifetv.com, which is the platform we're transitioning to. Please ring the bell if you're on YouTube on Loving Life. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.
Let me appreciate your coming here to this briefing. I'm going to commence, having welcomed all of you, by making a few disclaimers before I get into the heart of the matter for which I have called this. I've called this briefing for one specific thing. And if you want to ask other questions, another day about those questions. But today, it's about this Heritage Fund thing, which I thought I need to expand more about. I just did an interview on NCA, JJ Tabani, about stepping aside the ANC, about whether money is used inside the ANC, and then about the fund. And I realized in social media the explosion was up about this fund. So I thought, as a leader, seeing that those remarks and that fund itself is caused 4 types of division in the opinion makers, I thought we should try to find a way in which we can have all these things coming together without having to reach an agreement. The divisions are those who are saying, well done, Tokyo. Great, you're a great man, yes, you are our leader. And go on, do your work. And there are those who are saying, you've been scammed, Tokyo. We trusted you, but how could you fall for a scam like this? But they are fair, they're asking questions. I like the Star, the following day we said, show us the proof. And there's a third group of people in South Africa, in the whole world of Twitter in particular, and the media in general. The third group just says, you're talking nonsense. This is a scam. It has always been a scam. It can never be such a thing. The last group of people are people who are not sure they are ready to hear what I have to say. If they like it, they'll go into one group. If they don't like it, go that way. I want to start as a leader to say that. That's what brings me here. I thought, because people are having all these differences, not that I'll solve them. It's their business to argue. It's a democracy I fought for. And I've been in jail for a very, very long time. One day in jail is too long. 15 years in jail, where you sleep alone for 18 hours, you're not out, you're locked in. I'm used to this kind of thing. But also, I'm very much accustomed to brickbats. Stones, eggs, being bitten, insulted. It's the territory I belong to. As a freedom fighter, it's where I come from. Torture, all these things. The apartheid government did its own share and taught us in exile, in underground, in prison, in the death cells where I was, how to be resilient. But I thought we should help in this situation where one has caused such a very interesting controversy. Disclaimer number one, before I get into the body of the work. I'm not on any Twitter. I'm not having a Facebook. I'm not on, my daughter speaks about the Instagram, or on any social media platform. I don't hide behind Twitter and press statements. That's never my style. Press statements are issued by representatives from the time when I was in business in the ANC, the premier of the province, minister. There are people who do those things. But if I have to speak, Tokyo Sexwale comes out like this. And the people must see you, they must be convinced whether what you are saying is believable or not. So I don't operate in all of those things. But I want to say that in that regard, I have discovered that I've got 8 Twitter accounts that are making all types of comments. A very simple one, please. I'm saying to the world of Twitter and social media, forget that. Anything that you've heard from those accounts are not mine. So you have been scammed. Twitter, you have been scammed. And the police, somebody reported to the police, who called me to say they are attending to this matter. On second thoughts, I said to the police, please, Twitter and all these things doesn't kill anybody. There's no murder, there's no violence, there's no rape, there's no assault with grievous bodily harm. It's just words and words and words. It's cartoons. A person in my position must be cartooned, must be zapiroed. They can comment about you. That's what they do, so that the skin is thick. I cannot say people who are saying all type of things are not. It's a democracy, and that's what I fought for. As a leader, Nelson Mandela, until today, we fought in order for people to zapiro us, to lampoon us. So I said to the police, find out who's done that if you want to. I'm not interested in that, except that they should not deceive people. Second disclaimer. The Heritage Fund I'm going to talk about is not South Africa's money. is a heritage fund whose owner is from Asia, and this is not South Africa's money. So when people are discussing, don't think that suddenly, hey, this is South Africa's money. And this fund is responsible, and I take responsibility for those funds, together with one, Godwin Webb. He was going to be with me here today. But at 11 o'clock, the doctor said, come in. He's far older than me, he's an old man. And they've called him in for some emergency to do with his lung. So he was going to be here. But in any case, I am here as I was at ENCA. This fund is not a South African fund, not at all. The funds are responsible for development and philanthropy throughout the African continent and Indian Ocean island states, Madagascar, Seychelles, Mauritius, and so on. That's where I take my mandate as responsible. So when people sometimes go into a tailspin about this fund, it's not a local fund. But Godwin Webb and I are local. And we are as South African as Pap and Vleis and Buddha Vleis. Another disclaimer is that today I will not be able to part with certain information. We can ask questions, but I will tell you the information that will not be able to part with. But I'm going to say a lot. You like what I'm going to say. It's information enough for the media to run. So I didn't call you for light-hearted things here. The information which will not deliver here is to do with the hawks who are in charge of very serious crimes investigation. We've been advised not to divulge or to deal with certain information which is part of the process of ongoing investigations. But you may not know what those things are. As journalists, I will tell you when you come to that or when you ask those questions. The last disclaimer I want to deal with, and this is for Twitter, where people are saying, no, but Tokyo Sexwale is doing this thing because there are ANC elections coming, and maybe he's angling for the presidency because he didn't succeed as president in Mangaung. Therefore, maybe he's coming with this one. I had one commentator, Michelle or something like that, taking that line. I hope he's listening. Don't jump the gun. He was talking against the wind. If you are an analyst, people want to hear, give people sense. Because a lot of people are analysts who are called every day by this radio station, television station, this media, and people become very, very clever about what they do not know. I am 68 years old. Same age with Cyril. And if Cyril is going to take his second term and he leaves and Tokyo Sexwale is going to fight for the presidency, I'm 70-something. I have done my time. I have served the people. For a long time in underground, within the ANC army, in prison for 15 years. I've served as premier of this great province, as minister of a troubled department, and now being given a responsibility for a fund that covers all African countries. Africa has got about 3 or 54. I do not have the opportunity at the time, even the thinking to go and sit in a certain office which was built in 1910, and Afrikaners and all sorts of people are sitting in it. It's called the Union Buildings. My time in that type of politics is done. Count me out, Mr. and Mrs. Twitter. What I do here, judge me with this work, but don't go and make falsifications. You know, they say if you can't deal with a person's story, you try to derail them. It's untrue. It is untrue. But besides, I just want to, because these are disclaimers, I just want to send a message to Twitter, because it's out there. Because that's the world where people are discussing the democracy I brought together with others. They're free to talk. Don't get arrested. In Nazi Germany, all the people will be shot right now. But right now, or in Spain under Franco, Brazil under these generals and so on, some African countries, people don't be saying these things. I'm very happy to see this democracy. Sometimes things which are being said are wrong, but sometimes it's better for people to say wrong things, including journalists. That's Nelson Mandela I'm quoting. Sometimes better be wrong for journalists than the matter not be raised at all. Cartooning, welcome to Twitter. I want to start a conversation in Twitter before I start, because Twitter I've been trending. The time has come for us to go young men. Tokyo 68, Wende, all these leaders. Let's follow the trend in the world. The president, but we must find the president from the 30s, the 30-year-olds going up. Obama was 40-something. He was elected as leader of the most powerful nation on earth. The president or Prime Minister of New Zealand is 30-something. Of Finland is 30-something. Of Estonia is 30-something. These are the 30-year-olds. Ukraine in the 30s. And of course France, 39. What is it that we should, in this democracy, people are looking backwards. So does Tokyo have ambitions for this thing? Forget that. Our time is done. People must now start looking amongst the young people to run this country. Instead of looking at Mikuru to its that's a suit. I hope I'm done with that. It's a waste of time sometimes to hear these things. Those are the disclaimers. Later, if you want to ask questions about any of those things, I'm here. I am going to take you on a journey. I've got no written statements, I've got documents which I'm going to leave with you. When I speak on the truth, I come with my chest. I don't hide behind Twitter. We're dealing with a scam, but we're going to realize who is scamming who. Who is scamming who? I'll take you on a journey how I arrived here. On the 7th of January 2019, maybe I should start in December 2018, I was approached to become a joint mandate holder of this heritage fund, White Spiritual Boys. There's another one, Spiritual Wonder Boy. And I found out what type of names are these. I'm used to big names, Anglo-American, Microsoft, Velapanda, White Spiritual. Okay, I've seen many companies with funny names or such things. I was asked to be a fellow mandate holder. I examined the subject for a whole month and I accepted. I suffer no fools. There are a few things I know very well. I'm a township person. There are things I do not know. Ask me to fix the nuclear power station, I can't. Ask me to bomb it, I can. I'm trained for that. Ask me to lead this type of fund, it's very easy. I've been leading funds, International Advisory Board of JP Morgan Chase Bank of the United States. That's me with Lee Kuan Yew and other people, Tony Blair, the man from First, Kissinger. Those are the people who are sitting with it. It was the biggest bank in the world at one stage. I served on this. So billions, handling billions. I've been director of South Africa's largest retail bank. It's known by the name of ABSA, but it was not its original name. And I did a deal with ABSA. Panda. Billions are not something new to me. So when somebody comes with billions, this fund, I realize that the zeros are a bit more on this fund. There are more zeros. And that's why people get excited as though they should not be. There are more zeros. I agreed and I was appointed on the 7th of January 2019. I'm going to take you on a journey. So what did I do? I investigated Webb. Who is this person? My joint mandate holder. How authentic is he? What blunders or otherwise is not made? What criminalities? And it's not for the first. When I'm premier, I appoint people in my cabinet. All of them are subjected to official national intelligence to know their backgrounds. The president does the same before he appoints a cabinet. So I did that because I'm used to doing that, investigate people. I've appointed people. In my own company, certain as CEOs and chief financial, we check people's backgrounds. And my position as a former minister helps me because it's easy to pick up a phone and ask people, can you check this person? So I did that. But most importantly, check this fund. It's based in Singapore. And the main person who is a proxy is a certain Mr. Biu. He's Chinese. Mr. Bui Chak Leong. It's all in the papers I'm going to give you. Check him out. Check him out and ask a number of intelligence organizations that I am associated with. Remember, we are also connected to things. Who's this person? Is he real? Because behind him is the real private owner. But his main person is Mr. Leong. Checked him out and checked the fund and connected with international police to check the authenticity of this fund. I don't just walk into things. And people sometimes, as we're writing, it's like, and I'm sure that's why some people are shocked. Our Tokyo Sexwale, how could he be so tricked, so scammed? As somebody started the scam thing. And we'll come back to it. Once you say Tokyo Sexwale has been scammed, I checked the meaning of, I speak good English because I was taught under band education. But I was no longer sure what the meaning of scam is. I was taught very good English. It's not my English, it's the Queen's language. But in South Africa, there's Mrs. Jacobs, a black woman. When I speak, we only speak English, you must be very careful. So I learned the language. I also speak Russian and other languages. This is so to Kasbu. This is Zulu Yaskru. Very nicely. So let's check this fund very carefully. Who exactly are these people? I did my work. And the fund to me came out as authentic. As authentic. Then I checked, as we're checking, we found that on the internet, these names of WSP, this spiritual white boy, the Wonder Boy, these names that sounds very, there's a lot of them on the internet. A lot. We checked through all those, there's a lot of different people trying to scam others operating in that space. There's a lot. Check the internet, you'll see horse and those types of things. We had to sift through that mud to understand this one. So there are certain verifications that we conducted with the help of people to authenticate this fund. Which so easily somebody says, scam. Scam. Did you report that to the police? Scam is a crime. Okay? Let's just be very clear. To scam somebody is a crime. I check this thing. So trick people, especially out of their money, is to fool people. And when you do that in the name of banks, in the name of financial institutions, when you scam a person, and you are a minister, or you are a president, you are a premier, you report to the police. You don't just say, Tokyo was scammed. Did you call the police? Or is this just a gimmick on your part? If an official of government knows about scamming of anybody in this country and all of us in this room, and you don't bring that to the attention of the police, that's a commission of crime in front of you, and failure to report a crime is a crime in this country, just in case we didn't know. If I know anybody scammed in this room, of course we walk away and let people stew. But if truly it is known that I knew a certain information about the commission of crime and I didn't report it, like scamming of a person, an old woman being scammed of her ticket at a terminal, these payout things. People will stand there and they scam them. If you know of such a thing, or people operate in that space, you bring that to the attention of the police. You don't just tweet, especially if you are a senior, serious person. Question: why didn't you report this to the police if anybody does that? And not come to them. I'm not scared of people here, but you know where I'm going. Right? Once appointed and having done certain preliminary checks and I was more or less confident we can go, I did two things. So walk that journey with me, because I don't suffer fools and I don't do things without consulting. I was taught by the best of the best, Nelson Mandela. He's a consensus person, consultation. You make few mistakes like that. Now, I'm a party man through and through. African National Congress, as much as it is doing this limping and appearing 99% of all these things as Zondo, is this organization. The president says if we have to be accused number one in the witness box is this organization. That's what the president says. That's how bad things are. But I went like a true party person to see the African National Congress and to report to them. I have just been appointed to this fund. Scammers don't do that. Scammers don't do that. That gives my organization the power and the opportunity and the privilege to help me to investigate just in cases of scammers don't do that. They hide and sit in hotels, in corners of offices and restaurants and try to break deals. I do not work like that. That's why Twitter is shocked. I'm unshocked in them. So who do I approach? The African National Congress has got a structure, which is wrongly, they call it top six. There's no such a thing, it's just colloquial. It is the officials. And I approach Comrade Paul Mashatil. Chief, here is a mandate. That's the first port of call. Here's a mandate. Bring this to the attention of all the officials and tell them, because this thing looks like it's developmental, a lot of money for development, of all types of infrastructure and philanthropy, for education, for health, for housing, free of charge there. This side is about 1 or 2%. The country is in debt today because we are paying a lot of money. Tito will tell you about that, the minister. Because the interest rates are very high. But this fund, 1 or 2%. So if SAA wants money, 1 or 2%, you don't have to go and borrow money like the finance department is forced to borrow money 7, 8, 9%. It's very heavy. Look at the debt, the way it's running. Later, I want you to run debt of South Africa so people can see in real. We don't borrow, that's why we cannot pay. So this fund would help us. I reported to the ANC. Not just Paul. Paul, take this thing. In the meantime, two-pronged strategy. ANC officials are not a business. They are not finance. This money can help government. I reported to my government. I've been part of it. I know the functions, how it works. Went to my government. And I wrote a letter. I'm going to read the first letter to Minister Tito Mboweni 2 years ago. Maybe you think this thing is a Twitter of last week. 2 years ago. And I said to the minister, you'll get a copy. Because we don't like to play around here and confuse the nation and scam the nation by feeding them false information about I wrote to my dear minister, my brother. My dear Minister Tito Mboweni, please put the letter here. Is the letter here? Yes. Oh, I'll read it to you. And the email, you can see it went to Marion. That is not a nobody. That's the chief of staff of the minister's office to hand over to the minister. My dear Minister Tito Mboweni, this note serves to advise you with respect that I have been appointed as a joint mandate holder of a heritage fund known as White Spiritual Boy Trust, whose proxy is based in Singapore. My co-mandate holder is Mr. Godwin Webb, a fellow South African. Our territory and area of responsibility encompasses countries on the whole African continent, including all Indian Ocean island states. Point number 3. The intention is to use mutually agreed appropriate portions of the fund to provide long-term infrastructural development finance and business investment capital at highly competitive rates, around 1% interest. Social projects in education, in health, welfare, sport, etc. are 0 interest rated, meaning free. There's nothing here. When we talk about free education, this is it. It's not only Bill Gates who invests, and he has put 60 billion or something in Africa. Many people put money, some of them you don't know. So when I got this, I went home. And I continued to say to my minister, this fund, which is US dollar denominated, operates through central banks, the South African Reserve Bank in our case, although commercial banks may also hold part of these funds in each jurisdiction, but all via the Bank for International Settlements. When you come back to that, the Bank for International Settlements Worldwide System, BIS, based in Basel, Switzerland, and has the security clearance of inter alia, Interpol, and local security structures. The bottom Prime Minister. We are on standby to avail ourselves soonest at your disposal in order to provide you with the necessary information, electronically or hard copy, regarding the proxy, the mandate, its authenticity, the veracity of the funds, and to clarify any related matter. At the same time, it is fair and proper to make you aware, assuming you are not, that the existence of this WSB fund has been brought to the attention of various authorities in South Africa before, and that there are severely grave governance issues in that regard, which have come to light and are now well known to the principal mandate holder and trustees of the WSB. I'm warning the minister that something has happened. Having recently accepted the role of mandate holder, I need to take you into confidence about what we have been led to believe has transpired with these funds, which, if true, to say the least, is extremely worrisome and potentially destructive to the country's banking and financial structures. My last paragraph of the minister is the following. Last but not least, notwithstanding the continental mandate, we still remain citizens of our country and are mindful of working with your good office, as well as other relevant ones, to contribute towards the wherewithal of South Africa from the vantage point of the WSB platform. We are prepared to assist. Comradely yours, my comrade. Tokyo Sexwale. Letter is copied to my president as well as the governor of the South African Reserve Bank. And this letter was Valentine's Day, 14th of February, 2019, a week after my appointment. What is the intention here? To take your minister into confidence. Now, the Minister of Finance of any country, definitely a powerful country like ours, has got systems of checking. Within seconds, you will know whether this is right or wrong. I say seconds. Any of the people assembled here, or any South African Anybody in the world, if you've got a bank account, is going to be checked. It takes seconds to know. To say my account is number so and so and so and so and so. Within seconds. I'm prepared to donate 5 rands to any of you right now, and the money will register in seconds. Okay. And I could ask you to donate 5 rands to me right now. I'll get that money in seconds. But I could also give you a wrong bank account number, deliberately mine, missing or changed with a digit. Once you do things, it will come to my phone in seconds. I'll be told this fraud. They may even block it. They'll phone. That's what they do with me. I've got a bank manager. If you don't, some people, in the banks are slow. That's why banks have got to be very careful in insurance. People should not be robbed whilst you are there, because these things can be checked in seconds. Bank compete about products they give in order to protect monies of people. So, if the minister wanted to check, it takes seconds, not minutes. Then I received replies. First reply was from the president of the country himself, President Ramaphosa, acknowledging the letter I had written to his Minister of Finance. The President's office acknowledged that letter. You can read that. From PA to PA. That's how these things work. In the meantime, Mr. Mashatile, where are we with the President? Because I have to hear from my party as well, my party man, my party head. Answer comes, the President is aware, would like to meet with you and I, meaning Paul Mashatile, the President and I, to get into this matter, because this is very exciting, he said. A week passes, Minister Mboweni has still not responded. But before then, I get a call, because the other person who was copied is the governor, Mr. Lesitja Khaya. He did not write back to me, but we know one another. He picks up a phone. Hey, of course, you live here now. Oh, speak Pedi together. He says, I see a letterman here purporting to come from you. Is this letter really from you? Yes, comrade. And he says, hey, listen to Tito on the phone. He's acknowledging receipt. This looks like a scam. The first time I heard that word was from Tito Mboweni. Now let me tell you what honesty is about. It was just a phone call. If I want to cover anything, I say, Tito never said anything to me. I don't cover that because it's true. This looks like a scam on the phone. Is that so, Chief? He says, yes. Now let me tell you why I went to Lesitja. In business, I told you, big monies. At one stage, somebody was going to pay me from Australia using a SWIFT. Research that for those of you who don't know the SWIFT system. And the payment didn't make sense. Where did I go? Lesitja Khaya, because the payment comes through the net bank. Lesitja, what about this? He said, we'll check. Within a few hours, he came back and he said, that's a scam. Why? Because it's a copy, it was not the original. That's my Lesitja. We killed it. So I'm used to going to double checking things. Imagine the honesty that I put about Lesitja here. I would have said, no, he said nothing to cover myself. No, he did say that. Never said it's a scam, it may be. Whereupon I said to him, I hear you, Chief, on the phone. I think you need to come and see what I have, as usual, because it was a phone call. And then you make a final decision. If you are convinced, then it's a scam. Ask me what I was the following day, and I went to see. And I was getting documents for him about this mandate. I handed him the documents to study. He said, hey, I think we must talk. I have to check this thing very carefully, which is normal. It's a pile of documents. Documents that pointed out of malfeasance and criminality that was happening inside the bank. Malfeasance, shenanigans, and criminality were happening inside the bank. Those are the documents. It had names of individuals, how money has been moved from this account, and where it went into the commercial banks. That's what I put. Well, for me, I slept well because I'm waiting. The switcher will, as usual, check. Never came back to me. The other day, just 2 seconds to tell me that the SWIFT is, because I trust him. I was now looking for the switcher to find out what is happening. Phone calls are not answered. I'm sitting with this thing. Hey, what could have happened here? In the middle, Paul, the other side. I'm working for this fund. I get paid with fees. This is not work for the Red Cross. This is money. I've got to make money. So I've got to work. On the side of the ANC, where are we with the meeting with the president? We'll see the president. And after some time, it was very, very clear. I'm not seeing the president here. I used to have WhatsApp with the president, with friends. I send him WhatsApps. I have copies. Hey chief, when I see you, I keep on asking for a meeting. And it took months to see the president. I said this in Newsroom Africa in front of JJ Tabani when he was there. But there was a time when I was looking for the president. And I sit with people who I say, I need to see the president. And these people played games in this. I can see him. You can see him. Yeah, and they send it, what's up? And then in seconds it comes back. I send this side, mine just turns blue and nothing. Oh man, I'm looking for my president. In the meantime, nothing happens. I write to Tito a second letter. It said that I had to write this letter. You'll get a copy. It's very sad. Dear Minister Tito Mboweni, in reference to the letter penned to you dated the 14th of February 2019, I hereby wish to make the following observations. Like a fool, I'm writing for the second time. 1. In the course of conducting business transactions, local and global, there are all manner of financial deals which may be less than genuine. One needs not remind a highly experienced leader like yourself that in such daily interactions we often come across the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what I mean. In this context, I wish to state categorically that if there is any knowledge on your part, on the part of your esteemed office, or other related ones, regarding any doubt on the WSB accounts, for example, fraud, scam, or any malfeasance, you are requested to advise us accordingly so that the matter can, with your assistance, be promptly brought to the attention of law enforcement agencies in our country and elsewhere. Don't tell me I've been scammed, man. Don't scam me in public. Don't scam the public. Don't scam the media. And don't tell them about this. Don't do this, man. Promptly is all in capital letters. Put it up there, Chief. I'm writing this thing like a fool. I said if we report this thing promptly, this would be highly appreciated. Similarly, if the WSB funds are legitimate, and I and others have been made to believe them, as I indicated in my previous letter, we stand ready to collaborate with your good office. Again, comradely yours. Again, copy the letters to his employer now, President Cyril Ramaphosa, and his colleague. Let's say, stay the course with me. What do you have done? Go to the Hyatt and sit in corners and try to do this deal. I don't work like that. I'm well trained in these areas. I'm sincere, I'm honest. I consult my comrades. The president, the SECHA, the governor, and the minister, they had at their disposal tremendous technologies to check this thing of Tokyo 2 years ago. I call like a fool. From office to office, I send these WhatsApps, and it's all silent. What would you have done? Don't palm me and hit me with bricks and pour eggs and scorn on me on the internet and WhatsApp without knowing this history. You are scammed by somebody who doesn't tell you this. So who's scamming who here? I need help from my comrades. They have means in the presidency, they have means in the bank, South Africa Reserve Bank, and Finance Ministry, Treasury, to check anything of this nature. I'm left high and dry. I resort to the president again. By the way, I never got any response this time. 26th of March, I write to the president. Dear Mr. President, this note is with reference to my letter dated the 14th of February 2019 addressed to the Honorable Minister Tito Mboweni, copied to both Your Excellency and the Governor of the Reserve Bank, Mr. Sisha Kanyao, and to which we appreciate your written acknowledgement or receipt, as well as that of the Governor telephonically. Unfortunately, a courtesy we did not receive from the Honorable Minister. I'm talking with the Minister's boss. Thank you for acknowledging that letter. The SECHA called me. I still have not heard. No courtesy. For 2 years and 2 months. And then you tell the world you are reaching out to Tokyo. I have to stand out there and say, what's wrong with Tokyo? Look at him. They fooled him. They scammed him. They tricked him. Oh, we're reaching out to him. 2 years later. I say to the President, due to this fact, we have been unable to present the concerns raised in the above-mentioned letter to the Honorable Minister. Accordingly, these issues, in my view, have now reached a level of critical national importance which must now be tabled before you. Don't go behind the Minister. But if it doesn't come to my chest, I go to his employer, guys who pays him. By way of example, I'm informed by the owners of privately held funds on the Bank of International Settlements under the master account 40551, that number, reference that number, in the name of White Special Boy, held in US dollars, that this account has been unlawfully accessed by parties currently under investigation, and I understand confidential, Mr. President, that subpoenas have been issued. Furthermore, documents that I have been exposed to reveal, for instance, that these funds held in a private account in the South African Reserve Bank, SAB, have been unlawfully transferred to 6 accounts in the South African Reserve Bank, not under the control of fund owners, being the trustees of White Spiritual Boy Trust. In capital letters, this would constitute a serious offense. I'm telling the president that something has happened, exactly what has happened. I'll come to that because there are facts here, not just talk. Under the watch of and direction of the South African Reserve Bank, under the watch of the South African Reserve Bank, the same has occurred in the original 7 commercial banks and in fact moved into a further 3 banks in South Africa, as well as individual bank accounts in London. They are now flying. Malaysia, United Arab Emirates, and numerous other jurisdictions. The names of the holders and the beneficiaries of these unlawful accounts are largely known to the authorities, being the WSB proxy and trustees in Singapore and elsewhere. Should the information exposed to me be correct, it will have a serious catastrophic effect on the South African Reserve Bank and the entire political and financial reputation of our new democracy. Hence, this urgent note directed to you. Last point. Our long-awaited meeting, I told you I can't find it. Our long-awaited meeting has now become a matter of extreme urgency, where together with my co-mandate holder, Mr. Godwin Webb, we aim to work towards establishing a mechanism to help avert this calamity where still possible. Comradely yours, I copy this to Mr. Tito Mboweni, his employee, who is not answering, again to the Sichahaya. Where's that number? Where is the number that we are talking about? Can you just put it on the screen sheet? As he said, do you have it individually? We're not talking miracles here. Can't make allegations. Say, I've got a bank account. What's your number? I read it very fast. That's the number. What is this number? This number allows Godwin Webb and Tokyo Sexwale in the South African Reserve Bank to enter and download this money for the projects I'm going to mention. And I refer to some of them on television. This is the number I now gave to the powers that be. Not some number of some godforsaken people. This one is the number that the students who are looking for money in South Africa manufacture t-shirts and wear this number here, because their money is also there. And let the poor who are supposed to be getting additional grants as we have voted, this is the number. It's called the master account. And let the people who are doing COVID, and you see the COVID letters that we sent to this presidential fund that is led by Gloria Sorobe. What do you call it? That's it. We wrote and offered them money. Take it from this account and give it to these people. Take this money and increase the grants of COVID, which are short, Mr. President, from 350, give them 2,700 from this money. From this account, not some, please. In the meantime, I did send a letter to Mr. Mashatile, a mandate letter, as discussed. Have you got that letter? That's the letter I sent to Paul Mashatile, for him to take the mandate and other documents, because he wanted to see this mandate also. That's my party, because he's working with the top 6, what we call the officials. Tokyo has been scammed. Who's scamming who here? Who's scamming who here? I go in trust and confidence to my own comments. And they go to journalists and back. They go to Twitter. False. They don't tell you this. Be investigative journalists. There's two types. Investigative journalists who do their work, and gossip, gutter reporting. Help the people with what I've just told you. I see in all of my accounts they've apologized for me. Then I'll bend my knees and say, maybe I know what I'm talking about. And it all starts with that account. Let me explain to you what is the Bank for International Settlements. And I have that slide. So that you can understand what has happened and why people thought they could get away with a crime of this magnitude. I'm going to show you something, maybe I should have. You don't have to put it there, Chief.
Lost it.
Lost it, doesn't it? You trained in the military, I can write a few things. Here is what the story is about. But you can get this from later. We've got these documents. So that you can understand what has happened here. This is high-flown international finance. It's not banking as you know it. That's why people think that we are fools and people don't know what has happened. Here it is. There's something called BIS. That's a Bank for International Settlements. BIS is headquartered. Oh, am I spoiling the fun now? Should I get it there?
Yeah, please.
Maybe. But I want to write for you here. What do I do? In the spirit of fairness, I'll gesticulate with my hands. Later I will explain. Just find this page, Chief, in the meantime. In the world of finance and banking, there's what we call commercial banks. You all know them. Absa, Standard, Netbank, all those things. Those are commercial banks. I can't teach you about it. Commercial banks are governed by the central bank. In South Africa, we called it the Reserve Bank. Others call it the National Bank. Others call it the People's Bank. So when you do transactions, you get into the commercial banks and the money goes there. But commercial banks are governed, are regulated, they are borrowed money, they keep money, they get loans and so on in the central bank. The world has got about 205 countries. Each one of these countries has a central bank or reserve bank, whatever they call it. We'll come in. Thank you. But who has the central banks when countries are in trouble? If South Africa is in trouble and your central bank doesn't have money, where does it go? There it is. Bank for International Settlements. You can go to the World Bank also. You can go to the IMF. The Bank for International Settlements is the Reserve Bank of Reserve Banks. It's called BIS. It's headquartered in Basel, Switzerland. That's why when you study accounting and finance, they talk about Basel I, Basel II, Basel III. Meaning these are the various policies of updating the Basel system. In South Africa, we have King 1, King 2, King 3. I think we're at King 4 now. When I was director of ABSA, we had King 3, but I see in the papers we're at King 4. So Basel I, Basel II, Basel III. So Basel is where all the reserve banks are monitored, because countries deal with one another. They want to see what you have in your country. So you can't take a small little country from Timbuktu and you want to do business with other countries. They want to see when they borrow money, what do you have? So it's the Reserve Bank of central banks of the world. The money we're talking about is linked to this system called BIS. Now inside, so let's come back now to the Reserve Bank. Inside our Reserve Bank, and this applies to all countries, there are two levels. Level 1 is the central bank, where money is borrowed to commercial banks, the dealers and so on. Level 2, and the government and so on. Level 2 is called BIS, out there. You don't know about it, those who know, good. But in the majority of cases, you won't know about BIS because it's a very complicated part of banking. Hence what happened. The BIS system is where that account is. So if you go to the Reserve Bank and say, where is the account of Tokyo? They'll say it's not here. Where is it? Because in the BIS system, just above normal banking is where these types of monies are kept. So you'll be treated like stupid when you go to look for that account. Tell them to open up in the BIS system. Now, the BIS system is accessed inside any bank by very few people. At most, it could be of 2 or 3. In the bank, everybody's working. But in the BIS system, you must get what you call clearance at level 7, level 6, level 5, level 4. But level 7 is the highest clearance for you to access, to open, to download. But level 6 doesn't allow you. You can see the funds on the screen, on the terminal. But to get to that terminal in every Reserve Bank, there's a key that they must open up for you. There are tickets, it's all electronics, and then you can go in. So whoever goes inside there is known, and the bank has about 3 or 4 people. We've got level 7 clearance to go there. That's where this fund is. Then you can go and check. In the street, at any filling station, you do have a terminal as well. What do you call it? ATM. Even Magogo can go there, But you've got to check who goes there. But the ATM will tell. So it's okay in there. It's the same thing. There's nothing complicated about technology of this type. But inside there, it gets a bit more complicated. That account is there. That's why they talk about a 2-tier banking system. There's a blue line, that blue line. Above that blue line is where these accounts are held, these types of accounts. Below that blue line is the economy. These accounts get from there into the economy. So to move money from these accounts, it must get into the economy. It must get into various banks. So if we open a bank, in that bank, we can't start a bank, we say, open your banks, and then it's very simple. It's a bit complicated, but I'm simplifying it. If I want money today from Tito, I say, give me 10 billion, it will move from there, and it's saying which bank account. I say, put 2 in ABSA, put this and this. That's what happens. So that's how it moves. From the blue level to the yellow level. Take this to heart. Because those who want to falsify the truth and scam you and scam the public, and people who don't know even the ABC of banking, they'll use these things to hoodwink us. But the truth, as is often said, and I represent it here, the truth is stubborn. Like water, it can seep through a stone wall. First, slowly, later, rapidly, and can smash that wall, and that's how it gushes. Don't be standing in front of it. It creates lakes, rivers, and so on. But it's very difficult for the truth to go through. When you see water coming out, there is lakes under there. The truth is like that, very difficult. But of course, when there's also an active participation to stop the water from coming, they do all sorts of things. But in the end, you can't stop it. Because the truth does prevail. But the problem also with the longevity of the truth coming out is how and when it is told and by who and how it is prevented. The reason we are at the Zondo Commission in my party and the president says we are accused number 1 is because much of things that have been reported at Zondo should have been reported somewhere when somebody saw wrongdoing. But because it was not reported there, people would rather go to Zondo today. Do I blame them? No. The truth is very difficult to tell. It's easy now because there is this glare of lights, people feel a bit protected. Now you can stick out your head. Other people won't go even to Zondo. So the brave really do go to Zondo. And they sometimes ask for protection thereafter. It's very difficult to tell the truth. It needs courage. Don't think I don't have fear. It's just that I have more courage. I don't allow the other one to be subsumed. When you have fear is when your fear is bigger than your courage. You will never move. But you always must make sure that your courage must never desert you. So I'm not here because this is bravado. think I was a guerrilla fighter because I'm not afraid. I was in the death cells waiting to hang as well. I'm afraid, but it's just that my fear. Mahlangu said, a month before he died, he had fear. I met him in the death cells. There is fear. But fear in totality is called fear when it has overcome your courage. We say when your courage has deserted you. Fortunately, in this case, mine, it has not deserted me. I'm still standing and will tell this truth. It's wrong. Much against those people who want to scam others about the untruth. Use my words, please. Don't say to me, he said you are lying now. Use my words. Because I'll come back and say, you are also lying. Not that anybody's lying. Untruth. Tokyo says, so-and-so is lying. You will all be here. Read their stories and you know who's the scammer, even inside here. Yes, I've been told that some people who come here, we're waiting for them, by the way. They said, asking personal questions about his marriage. I'm waiting for that question. Please don't try it here. I've been told that some people have been sent without clear motives. Don't be scared. I'm not scared. But we understand that some people come here with wrong motives. 2 years trying to get through to people, and I got nowhere. The owner of the money, in the meantime, what's going on? We thought Tokyo Sexwale, and by the way, when I joined and I became a co-mandate holder with Godwin Webb, he was there from 2016 trying to do this thing. They came to me, or he came to me, only in 2018, effectively on the 7th of January in 2019. He's been struggling with this thing. He should have been here, Godwin, so that he can tell you the trials and tribulations of an old man that he is. He's not some big shot, he's just a common person. It's for 4 years we've been trying to do this thing, 4 years. For me, 2 years. They came to me. Why? They said, maybe Comrade Tokyo, because they're dealing with the government, the bank, ministers, president. He's one of these people, maybe they'll listen to him. That's why they came to me. We want to know that. Maybe I'll be listened to. Yes, for a few days, then I hit the wall. What brings me here now? The owner of the money, what made me write like this, is also calling. What's going on in South Africa? You should have started this thing to roll out this thing on the rest of the country. Unfortunately, COVID-5 hit us. Level 5 of COVID came at the time when we are busy with international banking institutions, reserve banks in Africa to do what we're doing in South Africa. And COVID came now. If I have to go to Zambia, we went to Angola, that was the last time, and then level 5. We live here, I go to Zimbabwe for the same thing. 2 weeks we are in quarantine to come back to this. It's a tall order. This COVID thing is a tall order. So if you have got to do 54 countries, and each time you go to, and these countries, and then they don't want South Africans, and then we have a new COVID here, the strain, you don't come here, and so on. It's difficult to travel, and you need private jets to do this type of thing. And you must stay. Whereas in the past, I take a plane and I go to a country, I spend the same day, I come back, or 2 days. This time, you'll be there for about 14 days, 15 days, because you must be quarantined before you come in. It's been difficult. But the owner said, but at least we're in South Africa. What is happening there? I've got news for you. Where this money was interfered with in the whole of the continent, South Africa only. Yeah. In other parts of the money of the continent is intact. But something strange started happening. We're called by friends, presidents, ministers, governors of the banks on the continent. They are also shaking. Hey, Comrade Tokyo, don't mention it. But people from your country are saying you are running about with a scam. Who? Ish. You see, hey, now it needs courage. But others just say it is so and so. And you trust this person, but when they are here, this is what they do. In some cases, I'm giving a name or two of a person or people who backbite this fund, who backbite us, so that it must not be opened in other countries. Because once we do that, and we are in the process of opening the funds, we'll stop by this thing, so that people will ask, what about in South Africa? Because here they've scammed the people, stop others, because it will expose us here. How can we help? So we don't stop. How can we help? From that account number. When this thing came, COVID, and the president was said to be wanting to raise money, and he raised 3.25 billion rands. Our president, he says he sent international envoys to look for money. And for this presidential fund, what is the name again? Solidarity. Keep on forgetting that. They've raised about 3.25 billion. Maybe it's gone to 4, or maybe it's gone south now because they're spending it, led by a good lady, Gloria Sorod. When the president was looking for money, we said, no, we can't sit down. So we arrived to the city. Haya, please, download from our accounts and give money to this presidential solidarity fund. And we ask the bank how much they should draw. You will get the letter. 5 billion US dollars. We ask for that. 5 billion US dollars is 75 billion rands for this solidarity fund. They collected only 3 billion. It's 75 billion. You can jump the other one, I've got this one here. No answer. No answer. You write to the solidarity fund, you offer them this amount of money, no answer. The silence around this thing is deafening. No answer. You can leave it here. You can find the copies here. I write to the president, Mr. President, we are asking for money. From that money, we want to download 5 billion, which is 25, and hand over to your solidarity fund. Because he called upon business to donate. So we discussed the owner of the money, says, we've got authority, even though the South Africans are delaying you. Tell them to withdraw this money, give it to you, and we give to these people. Then we decided to write to the solidarity fund, privately by somebody, to donate a very small amount. Oh, the reply came the following day. Thank you for this. 75 billion. What type of country are we living in? The government is trying to borrow money to address the debt. And Tito had told the international banks that he's raising money, and he said to Parliament they'll need about $1 billion US per week. We offer that amount to help South Africa. Download that amount. But now when you borrow government money, you don't just take money and give them. You buy their bonds. And you offered to buy bonds. There's a letter here addressed to the Treasury. First, we opened discussions with, I don't know him, but I sent my people to talk with him. And he confirmed that on Radio Shem. Tondo Mohaja would like to assist you by giving you $1 billion US per week from account number Swiss, which is in the Reserve Bank. And we got a very good response verbally. No, this is how to do it. Write to Mrs. Mashodi. Mrs. Mwashudi, Tsepiso. And I wrote to that music within the Treasury, Mrs. Mwashudi, offering that we want to buy bonds. And there was a discussion. Actually, he was on the radio because they are sending him. And most of the things he spoke on the radio were true. But then he was silent on the fact that after we offered, he disappeared. No responses, nothing. We offered to buy the bonds of South Africa. Now, buying bonds means you are giving somebody money, $1 billion US, and you hold a piece of paper until the bond matures. So we're helping. Disappeared. Looks like people are prepared to go and pay 8, 9, 10% when you give them money at 1%. What's going on? And you get surprised why we are stuck with Zondo. And in writing to the COVID fund, we copied the SEJA asking to draw that money. The governor is good. Responded with a tweet. And he said, we shall authenticate and revert. When was it? 3 months ago? Gone. Never returned to us. Time to help the country, which we fought for. No reply from Gloria Sorolo. No reply from the president who has asked for money to come. Listen to me. This is very simple, man. If Tokyo Sexwale's marbles are not working, I told you, take seconds. Tokyo, what is this account number you're talking about? Go to hospital or something like that. It takes seconds. Silence. Governor, I don't know. Nothing from the president. We're just talking against the wind and trying to help. The owner has got very powerful connections across the world, more than we have here, to observe the money, and they see what is happening with transactions inside South Africa, and we get fed information. That's the information I fed to the president to say, this is what is being seen. Let me tell you something that has happened. I said money moves from that account into commercial banks. When it's in commercial banks, now you can steal it. Comrade Tito in his tweet said, how? He asked, how can money be stolen from the Reserve Bank? You can say that to people who don't know. Spaza shops. Somebody who's lying in a dish. Or somebody whose house is just bent in Kailicha. Or a woman who is a soul mother who was never ready. You can say this. How can this? You cannot ask such a question. How can it be stolen? It's moved illegally into the commercial banks, and that's where you go for it. And it moved from the commercial banks abroad. It left South Africa. It's still there. There's a lot of it in commercial banks. They've stopped moving it these days because we know and we watch. They've realized that Tokyo and his team, they know what's happening. But money has moved from South Africa into various jurisdictions across the world from this one. But still, when it gets to other banks in the world, remember, it doesn't move from here to a private bank somewhere where you can draw it. It goes into the same BIS system, from BIS to another BIS. So it doesn't move from here into commercial banks and be spent in the streets. So we know where the money is. Now we started realizing something. This is the hub of what you call money laundering. There was an attempt now to bring back this money into South Africa as though it is investment. So people must go and search for money abroad. There's going to be money coming to South Africa. There's no money that will come to South Africa. One, when the country has been downgraded in 2018, and there's a recession. Recession number 2, it came in 2020, another recession. It's a double whammy. Fitch, Moody's, Standard and Poor, and other international rating and agencies, solidarity organizations, sovereign organizations, they downscale South Africa to nothing. SAA died, Dell died, everything is dying. The lights are going off in the SOEs. Hundreds of these SOEs. Nobody will borrow you money. That's why nobody will give Tito money. And Tito said there's no money in South Africa. We're even looking for money for COVID. And then we heard that that money, which left South Africa, is coming back in the form of investments. Wherever they gave it to, because it went into some pocket, now it's coming back. The investors are ready to come to South Africa. I sent very urgent tweets. There was no time to write letters, directly to the president. Put them up there, Chief. What I said to the president. What did I say? Twitter. Tweets. My daughter must help me. WhatsApp to the president. And I said, red alert. I sent this to the president and here to a close person who works with the president. I'm trying to pass on to the president immediately. I said, this is a follow-up to our phone call of earlier this morning. Urgently, I led the president thus, hashtag, the WSB, these funds, assets, which left South Africa illegally, have all been traced and are being tracked. Number two, various countries where the funds went, the banks, amounts, account numbers, and names of involved persons in South Africa and accomplices abroad are very well known. This is a fellow South African reporting to our president. The Treasury, South African Reserve Bank, and SARS ought to be alerted as the laundering of some of these funds back to South Africa is underway, dressed as investor finance for the awaited Presidential Economic Recovery Strategic Fund in Italy. Another hashtag. Thus far, these illicit funds are from Canada, so they'll be coming from Canada, from Germany, from Switzerland, and others are stalled in places like Dubai. You don't make these assertions unless you have knowledge. And somebody says, proof. We do have the proof. Again, so far, some of these examples of banks involved are HSBC, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Deutsche. Commercial banks locally are implicated. And then I said, the president's name is mentioned in these transactions because some people are playing games. As we agreed, do bring all this to his attention without any further delay. My things are without delay, immediately, promptly. No response. Hello, fellow South Africans. We're fellow South Africans. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sure a lot of you, Tokyo Sexwale is quiet these days. I'm a business person. See, some of the things I do, if I'm not doing FIFA, anti-racism, those type of things, and doing other things, Mandela Foundation, I'm quiet. Never stood for elections and NASDAQ. I support the president, and he's there. These are some of the things I do. Not just carry a Kalashnikov for the country. This is now the way of fighting today. To fight poverty, hunger, misery, homelessness. I know it. Even settlements just told me, but I am born in a squatter camp. I know what's happening here. Cry when you walk here in South Africa. Some of you have eaten. Your relatives haven't. Especially with COVID. I've not addressed that. When COVID came, the country is down. It was the worst rating agency. We're finished. This is what we're trying to do in the background. Page 7 of our mandate, which is in the hands of the authorities I'm talking about, says the following. Now you say, but why have you waited all the time to do these things? Why didn't you just act? The mandate says we can't act. Try to resolve this thing quietly. That's the owner's instructions to us. Try to recover whatever money has been stolen. When there's theft. This is page 7. Failing which, take whoever is standing in the way of development to the cleaners. It was for the first time in my life that I had to lay a charge. And knowing the people who may suffer in the reputation of the country. So there is a charge. And I ask, where do I lay a charge? I know I've been charged myself. And I end up in jail for a very long time. I've never charged anybody. At one stage, somebody stole my farm worker. He stole some things. The police said I should charge him. I charged him, but they said I should come and appear to. How do you charge? We took his money, he stole some rakes and things and broke a window, took a TV. I was supposed to charge this man. Why did I do that? So for the first time in my life, I charged. I did a charge. Because there was now an issue around the owner of the funds. And people were saying, hey, Tokyo is ANC, man. He's protecting his friends. So we applied page 7. Because they said, if you don't do that in South Africa, where the money has been stolen, we're forced to charge in any jurisdiction, Singapore anyway, across the world. To avoid us being dragged to courts like that, not being in the country. I went to see, together with Gordon, the Serious Crimes Division is having this case. Now it's in their hands, not in my hands. There are things that they said we should not tell you because they're sensitive, very sensitive. Investigations going on. Very sensitive. So I know I don't want to keep it for long. I said, come on a journey with me. I'm sorry, this is not a normal press conference, reading a statement, blah, 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 drinking water, lying to you, spin doctoring. This is the story of this family. I'm not stupid, it's just I can go, there's a fund. I asked my family, both in government and in the party, help me, let's investigate this thing. And I write letters. If it's a scam, let's report to the police. It comes from me. I've been treated unkindly. The whole Twitter world is shocked. You know why they're shocked? Aye, man. Tokyo is Atlanta, man. What is Dino? I brought Africans for those of you who want to know Africans. I'm from Soweto. That's our second language. The students were fighting not the language, but its forced use upon them. The first word in Soweto. If you can't say Exe, you will be marked. If you're moving the night, you say Exe. They know that you're one of them. Exe. Exe O2. That's how we are. So I come from that part of Soweto, not easily fooled by these things. But also I studied a bit of finance before I went for engineering to blow up things in the Soviet Union. But I also studied something on Robben Island for 50 years with Nelson Mandela, honesty, and to approach people properly. Judge me for anything. I'm everything, but I'm a thief. And I abhor people who steal from the top. If I have a voice, like at one stage as a young man, I could pick up a rifle and I fought. I was not sitting here. That's why I went to jail. That's why they wanted to hang me. If I can have a voice for the poor, I'll do it. With this voice, I'm defending our people. I have been scammed by my mom. Any questions? Please. I'm not a professional. Give your names. Just ask a question and follow one another. Give one another a chance. I don't want to say you, and then say you. And then. When she's through, please identify yourself, tell others who you are, so they can know who's asking this question, and so on. Please go ahead.
All right, my name is Maseko from ANC. I have a few questions. So you've known for a while.
Give others a chance. I will not say
I will. So
please be free.
you've known about it for a while, and why now are you telling us about this money that has been stolen from the poor? Secondly, you have given us or shown us documents of letters that you've sent to the likes of the President, the Reserve Bank Governor, as well as the Minister of Finance, but you haven't shown us proof that this money actually exists and that it was in that account. Can you give us the proof that there was that money that went to the South African Reserve Bank, besides the letters that were not responded to? Can you give us, for instance, the documents that you say you handed over to the Reserve Bank Governor, showing the fraud that was happening, and he didn't respond?
Maseko, you are not listening to me. You are scamming me. The answers are in the letters we are going to give you. Let's go to the first one. Sorry, can I speak now? Sorry about that. I'm just, I'm being talking. I'm quite humorous even in this situation. Maseko, I can't show you the money because I'm trying to get it out. But I'm telling you my account. Help me, investigative journalist. Bring it out. I've got no banks. I don't have that corruption to show you the money. I have shown you the money, Maseko. Please. As an investigative journalist, get to it. I'm a member, by the way, of the Panama Office International Journalists Association, blah, blah, blah. I'm a recipient. Get investigators, these ones who expose the Panama Papers and so on. Do that, myself. Do what these guys do. No gutter journalism. Go for that account. Don't ask me. Go for that account. That's where the money is. Number two, you have said, why now? I also answered that question myself. The mandate says, no beeline to appointed people because of try and negotiate, try and understand. Try and keep this thing quietly. Failing which, and it has taken me 2 years, the matter should be reported to international law enforcement agencies. Just give me that piece because I don't know what it is this way. Do you have it for them on the screen? Marcel, I could not. That's not how it works. You get appointed on 7th of January, you ask a letter to Tito on the 14th, he doesn't answer, I go to the police. No. Hey, I took a long route. But that is in line with the mandate. The mandate was not how quickly I can expose them. It's my party, my friends, comrades. But the mandate says so. There's no favoritism here. So I worked according to the mandate. And when we reached this level, we had to do that. There was another very important question from Maseko. One of those I've not answered. So I'm saying, I appeal to you, maybe you can help me, Maseko.
The documents that you say you met with the Reserve Bank Governor, you showed him that you're going to give us the documents?
Yes, whatever I had here, that you get it. And with those documents, then you can ask questions. Ask them questions as well, not only me. I don't fight behind Twitter or press statements. Here I am. I fight with my chest. But what you don't see, because I don't get stabbed in the chest because they know what will happen. But the knives on their back.
Did you ever...
the knives on the back, you don't want to see here.
Did you ever put money from yourself individually into the fund?
No. I work for the fund. It's too big. It doesn't need a talk. It's too big. They must pay me for the work. They ask me. I'm not the Red Cross. It's not just a fund, it's money, which must be going into business. It must provide loans to the government at 1 or 2%, like one. It must provide loans to business. It must build infrastructure. It must join government in their projects, the presidential economic recovery projects. I'm going to give you a tip. President Zuma, that's when the Godwin and them went. Godwin was the mandate holder alone. They went to President Zuma. Can they get documents around President Zuma? Paul? Those documents which were presented, not to President, first time President Ramaphosa, so President Zuma, and our current president, a fellow South African, was the deputy, not to him. President Zuma, before I came, I'm not here, this man who should have been with me, they went there. And they said, there's a fund. They were sent from a pillar to post. But President Zuma is reported to have said, no, I'm leaving, because it was about a month or so before at that time, we were calling for his head, and they got him. He said to them, I am about to leave. I did not know who the next president will be. There were about 6 candidates. One of these people will become president. When they come, thanks for the copies, but talk with them because I'm on my way out. But what he did, he was out, he was gone. Because of all these charges that he was faced with the ANC and the ANC government. On the last day when he now must leave as the ANC president, you will all remember, at the ANC conference, the 54th at Nasrec, President Zuma, the politician that he is, knowing about the fund, announced free education. Now you'll understand where was the money for free education. So he must have been local. He is not. He knew this thing and he took advantage to put the ANC there and to say, as I leave, I give you free education. But the kit is empty. There's nothing in the budget. He knew that there's this money. Ask him why he made that statement if there was nothing in the budget. The truth is coming out slowly. I give you more. I give you more. President Ramaphosa, in the State of the Nation, also said something, that there will be bullet trains, there will be all these things. Where was the money? All those things are in the presentation that was given at the time. It was not the dream of the president. He never dreamed those things. They are from this one. And they were announced in the State of the Nation. When there was no, that's why people said, oh, comrades said, ooh, and the markets were thinking, hey, forget, he's talking other things. There's no money in the country and the president announced this. So I'm just alerting you. People knew about this. I see a hand there. Please.
Hi, Lindy Lesifile from Sowetan. When you joined the fund in 2019, January, how much was in the fund? And 2019, 2020, and now you're talking about people stealing from the fund. How many people are implicated? How much are we talking about when you talk about theft? How much has it been stolen from the fund?
The fund is many zeros. They come to about 12. Let's talk about that amount. Remember I said that let the police handle some information. But for you, I said the zeros come to about 12. That's one. Number 2, question. You said who did what?
How many people are implicated?
Yes, how many? Thank you. Hold it
And
there.
where are they coming from?
That's right. How many people are implicated? Who are they and so on? The number, I do not know. The police are working on that. That's why we laid the charge to find out. But some of the people, we know. Because bank accounts were opened here under their names. How many of these people are? Ramasela, I don't know how many they are right now. Good question, but let's leave that to the Serious Crimes Office. They'll answer that, and we are free to also talk to them about that. So they are there. Who are their names? Leave that to the investigation. They're busy with that. Let people not run away. Another question there, Chief, because you had a whole package.
I'm good.
Okay. Please, choose yourselves. Don't raise the hand, just speak.
Mr. Sokale, Papa Lugundi from Newsroom Africa. Just two quick questions. I want to understand what your mandate is for the fund. Is it to grow the fund? Is it to invest money in the fund specifically? And if so, how much money? What are your targets?
Yes.
Secondly, you say that the fund offered to buy bonds, but you don't need to write a letter to the minister or the president to invest in South African bonds. You can go through the RSA retail website. You can even purchase them at the post office. So why was the insistence that the minister and the governor respond to you?
Thank you. Let me start with the last one. Don't get things wrong. I never spoke about insistence. See, now the state will change. I was insisting that. And I never spoke with the minister about bonds. I never insisted. So now I'm dealing with your question, which you can send around. I spoke with the Treasury, Dondo. I said so. I repeat, please get me right. Because once you are wrong, I come back and I said, yo, they've changed the message. It is here. I'm saying that, let's not get it wrong. I never spoke with the minister about bonds. The minister has not taken my letters for 2 years.
Correct. You mentioned that you
Let me finish. Let me finish. Yes. I mentioned the bonds. I'm coming to the bonds. So we're talking now to people who sell the bonds. It's the DG who's in charge of the bonds. And under the DG is a lady who specifically does. There are a number of people, but the DG is in charge of the bonds. He's the one. Bonds meaning he's in charge of getting loans. The minister had announced that they will need about 1 billion per week US dollars. And we offered to the Director General, not to the minister. We read to the minister. He was on Bloomberg, he was here, Financial Day, Business Day. When we saw that, we said, let's help them, let's help back. It's my country. And we said, not to the minister. He spoke, he's not taking our calls and not writing. So we go to where bonds are sold. So we did that. We said to Dondo, this billion that the minister once a week, we can give all of it. So it's not like buying, we are making a big deal, my sister. We are saying people have got to go to, and what did the Dondo says? He says, very nicely, talk to Mrs. Mwahiri. She's the one who does that. I wrote this letter, which you will see. So we did that. We did exactly that. We wrote this letter. They say they're considering it.
But the investment doesn't necessarily need them. So I asked, why did you need this? Because you could buy bonds if the money existed. You could buy bonds.
I see your question. I see where it's going.
Already.
Yes,
so
yes,
why
yes.
insist on getting confirmation?
No. There's no insistence. You see, now you're talking. Listen to the answer.
Why request?
Yes, why request? That's right. A letter request, you'll see it's a request. Because you can't insist to buy somebody's thing. Please be careful of that way and listen to the message properly. Why go to them? We said to them, you see, the money is not in my pockets. It's in the bank account in the Reserve Bank. So we said to them, we have money, it's in the Reserve Bank, we can help you. Help us to get our money from the Reserve Bank so that we can help you. That's why I went to them. With empty pockets, but with a huge bank account. Our money is in bank account number so-and-so in the Reserve Bank. We will take out that money and help you do this. We wanted also their cooperation for us to assist them. But if we had $1 billion US, we would have done that. So we said, help us to get the money from this account. I think it was logical. But then you said, what is the fund for? For growth? We don't grow the fund. It's enough money, it's not for growth. The money is for assistance. If you say grow it is what, 1%, 2% interest, not more. But it's really that's not, because you are far close to the Fed in America. See, the government borrows here at about 7 to 8%. So we are, IMF is what, about 4 or 5? So we're it's 5, eh?
0.5%.
Yes. What's that?
0.5%.
From the IMF.
The Fed rate at the moment.
Yeah, but with all the conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the conditions. Ours is just this, and that. They don't have to take the money. But also, we don't get involved into projects free of charge. We do that, but the rest of the money for hospitals, health, we help our people free of charge.
So just to follow up on
Yes,
that,
ma'am, yes.
my apologies, one last question, colleagues, my apologies. So you were asking the Reserve Bank, if I follow the train correctly,
Yes.
you're saying the money exists, it's sitting with the Reserve Bank. Could the Reserve Bank send that money to an account that you would provide, and then from that account, you would send money to the bonds?
Yes, but also, the Reserve Bank doesn't just send it to an account I'll provide. They open my account inside the Reserve Bank, in the BI system. So the Reserve Bank, there's this money. Now want to operationalize the money. We work with them to put it into an operational account inside the Reserve Bank. They handle that money. And as and when it must come into the economy, we work with them to come to the economy, because for money to come into the economy, the Reserve Bank must look at the impact of that money. You can't just bring 100 billion, 1,000 billion, because they must regulate the money to make sure that it doesn't change, the inflation rates, exchange rates, controls those type of things. That is why we have got to work with. So we wrote a letter. The letter to the minister has always been, we want you to open our account inside, the account that we can handle inside the Reserve Bank at that level, so that when it comes down, we bring it down with your cooperation, not all of it. They must have a hand, and you will see the letters that they must have a hand in how this money is brought into the economy. So we're saying to them, the money is there. We can help you.
Mr. Squale, the National Treasury and the Reserve Bank says there's no such funds in their account. What is your reaction to that? And secondly, you are saying the hub of money laundering was in South Africa. Surely you must know who are the main ring leaders who access those funds from the Reserve Bank. Are you able to shed light on that to us?
Thank you for the question.
And thirdly, are you able to give us a case number to follow on that matter?
Let's go for the last one. I'm not authorized to give the case number, but you are authorized to go to the police with what I'm saying. But they will confirm the investigation. As to whether they will give the case number, it's another question. It's a good one. We've got the police. The case,
The police station,
yeah?
the police station, where it was open.
Wait, Chief. Wait, Chief. Wait, I'm answering that person. Your second question is, come. The first one,
My second question was, you said South Africa was the hub of money laundering. No such incident happened
Oh, you mean in
any
other
parts
countries?
of the world.
Yes.
So surely you must know who the real leaders are.
I see. Wrong. Wrong to say you must know who the real leaders are. I don't know who went and accessed these funds into that private room where the servers are. Help me if you know. If you can investigate, they're a partner to the poor of this country and to business people and government who would like to invest money. That is the matter for the police. The police must know that. So you can't expect me to. That's why we reported the matter to the police, so that they can find the culprits, know who went to the servers, who moved the money into the various bank accounts of the different commercial banks. Now there's a minister who spoke about follow the join the. Yeah, there's a minister who once spoke about join the dots. You see, the problem with joining the dots is that you can get any hawk. My children do that. You do the dot and then it's an animal, and then it's a snake. You join the dots. In finance, you don't join dots. You follow the money. It's a straight line. And that money left that bank account. I've given you that, and went into certain commercial banks in names of people who are well known, who the police are dealing with. How many they are, the police will answer that. That's why we went to the police eventually, so that they should do that, because we're not allowed to access the money for whose mandate we have. Who's doing what?
The National Treasury and the Reserve Bank says there's no such fund.
See,
and in fact, the other interesting thing is, National Treasury said it is not in their nature that individuals can just come and deposit money into a central bank. What is your comment on that?
That's right. The crime scene is inside the Reserve Bank. The police will find out why. See, I'm not a cop. That's why we're here. Let's find out what happens. And you also have, not just me here, as a target, a responsibility to help investigate this. These questions must be asked of these people. I'm here to say something has happened. And shoot the messenger. Something happened here. Hang on.
What is your reaction to the fact that they say there's no such an account under their care?
I said in public, there is that account. And I've told you where it is. My reaction, I'm saying, there is that account. And I've told you where it is. For the first time, you've heard where this money is. That's my answer to you. Next.
Mr. Sexwale,
yes.
I'm hoping...
No, there's a gentleman there.
Comrade Sexwale, I'm Ramaphosa and a shareholder of Reserve Bank. And I confirm in front of everyone that that accounts exist.
You're a shareholder of this bank?
Of Reserve Bank.
Of the Reserve Bank, yes.
I confirm that that accounts exist. I confirm the quantity of the money exists. And you, if you follow the press, you also know that I...
Are you the people who went to Central Police Station?
Yes.
To report that there's a shenanigan there?
Yeah.
Yes?
So, I myself has also opened a criminal case on the same matter. Also been prevented for years to disclose it within the Reserve Bank. So and for the Reserve Bank to take action on it.
What is it? You are a shareholder of the Reserve Bank?
Yes. So, I congratulate you on taking the stance to open it in public. And I thank you for that.
May I ask you a question? Because
you're welcome, comrade.
People like you. Now, may I ask my own question, just in case you may be going on. Do you sit down with other shareholders? There's a shareholders meeting of the bank happening once in a while. And this is the meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee where the governor addresses about, the latest things about money management and so on. Price control. Do you attend these meetings?
I attend the annual general meeting.
That's the AGM.
Yeah. And you will also find, if you go back in the press, that the governor of Reserve Bank has threatened to throw me out of my own meeting if I persist with the questions that was presented to them months in advance on this issue. So it is in the public domain. It was published. So what I confirm is that the money exists. There is a criminal case open, and we are not at liberty to divulge, although I've named the suspects in my submission. I did name them.
Your name again?
Ramaphosa.
Thank you. Do you have proof of how much is in that account?
In the Reserve Bank statements, in the World Bank statements.
Look, what I can tell to you, it is significant.
12 zeros.
Not really.
No, it's a lot more. It is even more than 15 zeros.
I'm going to have a Zoom, which is...
Thank you.
And I want to finish with the question.
Comrade Sexwale.
Yes.
Mr. Sexwale, we put on Zoba from Eyewitness News here. I'm hoping that you can be empathetic with the confusion that is being caused with what you are addressing. Because in the first instance, you're talking about this money being able to be traced from the initial bank account to these other bank accounts.
Yes.
Yet, you, in the same light, you turn around and say that you don't know where this money has gone, and you don't know these people that have taken this money into. Can you take us into your confidence? Because you're talking about significant amounts of money. They're talking about close to 15 zeros in this bank account. This is a lot of money that you're promising could solve problems, societal problems that are in the nation. Could you take us into confidence and let us know where this money is going? Who are these people that have access to this bank account to an extent that they can withdraw funds or shift funds around, yet you don't know who these people are, and yet you accredit yourself to be one of the managers of this account?
Unless you're not listening to me, I sympathize with you. I'm going to start again. There is an account I showed you the number. We're trying to access the account. I'm a mandate holder. I've been appointed by the owner of the fund to access that account. We are blocked from accessing that account. But the owner has realized that money started moving from the BIS into the commercial banks. That much we can confirm. It went into 18 commercial banks in South Africa.
So even the owner of the account doesn't have control of the account, is that
How
what
can
you're
you
saying?
have a control on it here, Chief? Let's listen to one another. You can't have control. You can't control it here. It's correct that he appointed Tokyo Sexwale to help. It's here. So we are appointed to, so that we can have this control. We are able to have the control. But what is seen with money, don't ask me how, is that it has moved, not all of it, it has moved into 18 bank accounts.
And yet you have no idea who are these people who have access to these
You are
funds.
disturbing the others, let them get into 18 banks, not the bank accounts, banks, the banks that you know, possibly also in your bank. It has moved there. We're aware some of the names of people who habitate those bank accounts in the commercial banks. You see, I'm giving you hard facts. The account number is this. It has moved to 18 bank accounts, the ones that you know, Capitex, this one, Teba Bank. And in those banks, there are names of people, some of the high officials in South Africa. You go to the police. You go to the police. Let them finish. So I can't go to the street and say, you, according to this, you are appearing here. It's not done like that. You go to the police. I want to read you something here, very, very important. Just put it up here, Chief. About also, you can't just make statements. And Sean, I want you to listen very carefully, because you ask hard questions. Here's a hard one here. You can't just stand up and say scam. It's not, you can't. It's a criminal offense to know a scam and you don't report it to the police. South African Reserve Bank is a subject of investigation in this matter. I said there's a crime scene there. There are constitutional mandated bodies to investigate crime. The police and Chapter 9 institutions, these are the only bodies that can pronounce on the allegations, validity, and not the Minister of Finance or the Governor of the Reserve Bank. Criminal investigations cannot be led by the Minister or the Governor. Particularly if the bank is the scene of crime. I can't even go to him. Of course, shareholders must know, including the directors of this bank are very prominent South Africans. They must pronounce themselves about the shenanigans that we are saying are occurring within this bank. Last paragraph. Moreover, the current finance minister was a governor of the Reserve Bank, and these allegations stretches back to the time he was governor of the Reserve Bank. In closure, we have not received any report from the police or any other Chapter 9 institutions that this is a scam. The police must pronounce. The investigator here is not the minister of the government. They must launch the investigation to find out. So I'm asking a question. How does it become a scam when there's no investigation? Tokyo speaks on Sunday, Monday it's a scam. And we want to reach out There are the letters. I have been reaching out all along. We're not making up this. I can't come and stand up here and make these things. I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot me. I've got a Zoom coming and these Zoom things.
I just wanted to find out.
Let him come before you quickly.
Who's that?
Who's Shapuzin?
I'm your former comrade.
Sposho. He's not asking a question.
Yeah, what kind of crime will it, or what kind of a case will it be laid against the Reserve Bank, given the situation whereby there's plundering of a restricted account, or there's graft against the restricted account, and money will be transferred to banks like HSBC, like you have said, other commercial banks, and it is traceable. What will be the charge, possible charge?
If, it's a technical question again, one of those things that I said I cannot give answers. Because you see, all I can say is there's fraud here, there's theft, there's embezzlement, there's corruption, but when they formulate a charge sheet, we're complainants, that's when the people put it according to.
What should we expect? Plundering or?
No, let me not do that. I expect the police to come out with the charge sheet when they've completed their investigation. I'm just here to say now the matter is in the public.
Will you allow international intervention in terms of investigating the Reserve Bank? Because here Fanny Fons is complaining and he's a recipient of a white, spiritual white board. It's one of the account holders. And there's another one, who's that, Ricardo, ne? Ricardo Olivier.
Yeah.
There's a guy that passed on in Cape Town.
The question, Chief, I'm here.
Yes.
Question.
So
I do not know
what I'm
what
trying to say, that does your heritage funds link to Fanny Fonse, or do they link with other accounts like the Satis Pay or the Cities Pay?
I don't know about the gentleman.
Okay.
Mr. Gordon Webb and I are the sole mandate holders.
Of white spiritual
Sole.
trust.
The sole mandate holders. It's us. I don't know how the shareholder here. I don't know what the connection is, but we're the sole mandate holders. We've got documents that prove that. They've been given to the government. All we have to do is to go to the owner to get the answer. Not me. I mean, whoever has got doubts, that's what you do. I can't come here and claim to represent something. That's all you have to do. But now, you see, when you come to the area of investigations, that's why when the police, they have to complete what the story I've mentioned. It gets complicated. Who, when, how? That's investigation. Because people run to the hills and say all sorts of things. Okay, especially we are investigating people who are inside an institution. So somebody has got to get subpoenas and also to go inside the account. My sister. Zoom is waiting for me.
I just want to find out, you said that this is not money only intended for South Africa, it's
Yes.
also for the continent and other
For
parts of the world. Which other African country
For all of
do
them,
you know
all.
of has received funds from this?
It's inside their reserve bank. It's like
Is inside their
reserve
reserve
bank.
bank?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Leon, where is he? Have you communicated with
Mr.
him?
Leong is let me explain the structure. There's the owner of the money.
Is that Mr. Leon?
No. Mr. Leong is the proxy, the man who controls the money. Owners of money is Irish people. But the man who controls what we call the proxy, I'm not the proxy, and the trustee on their board, and the chairman. He's got the three. He's a chairman, he's a trustee, but he's also the proxy. Proxy stands for the owner. He does the appointment, and all those letters have been provided to the people. It's a red seal, what do you call a red seal? He's there, passport number, everything. Do we have the things of Mr. Leong? So that's what he does. He can't run about the whole of Africa and request that us, we have an agreement, help me chase the money. He's also in charge of other monies in Latin America, in Europe, in the Middle East. He's got representatives who do that. But here in Africa, it is ourselves. And again, my sister, it is a responsibility to all the African states, including Indian Ocean island states. If there's the last one, okay, penalty.
This is the home from the track. What I want to know, have you met these people who have mandated you? And secondly, what do you think is the appetite, or why do you think your comrades are not interested in what you say?
Let me start with the last one.
Yes.
I'm baffled. When you say my comrades, I'm baffled. Those who are, not everybody, others have asked, convey this and convey. By the way, I should also add another dimension. When I could not reach the president, I asked the veterans, 6 of them inside this hotel, we had a lunch, and I gave them the whole thing. When I could not be the president, I asked the veterans, and I spoke about this at Newsroom Africa, interviewed by the same man at that time was with Newsroom Africa, JJ, the one who tricked me on this one. So he was the other side. And I did say at that time, there's a clip I'm sure on the YouTube, that I assembled 6 ANC veterans from this 101. And I said, you know, I've already done with the comrades who are employed in government and those who are in the ANC. Where do I go now? I went to them. Not jigga here. I went to them. No press. You don't know about this thing. You see, in this situation, somebody should have leaked this thing, this written, get this one, hey, this. Don't work like this. I'm sure you're surprised. Guaranteed to me the honesty of a disciplined cadre. You hear it now. Imagine all this information since 2 years ago. It should have long been out with all these leaks. Granted to leadership. Just sit on this information. I'm not here to scandalize anybody for more than 600 or 700 days. 700 days. So I called the other comrades, I didn't speak about this. Hey man, there's this issue. Show them everything. And they said, Tokyo, this is serious. This is serious. I got a meeting with the president the following day at his home. And I spoke about that meeting in Newsroom Africa, that I was happy I met with the president at his home, and we discussed this issue, and we discussed some ways forward. Nothing happened after. The meeting came as a result of 6 top veterans when I could not get my way. I'm sure you'll be surprised. What happens? Why should I struggle like this for a meeting? Help me. My comrades, don't just look at me. Why? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. So I should have gone to somebody's wedding. Hey, who's also? Hey, Bachoncha. No, comrades. I'm made of another stuff. Stay with Mandela, Sisulu, Government Mbeki. They've taught us differently, man. I was in the NEC of Tambo, of Mandela, and so on. I'm trained in another way. Not this thing of the councillor. This one is a dog. It's dog. It's my home. I belong here. We're eating one another. The president himself said, we're the #1 accused. I don't act like that. You must be shocked. You must be fair. Tokyo has been sitting with right or wrong, but I sat with it. And it comes now because of what. So it's not for me to deny. When people say, I equal, correct. Investigate. Not by me. Because you see, if I have to investigate, I must go inside the bank with a subpoena with everything. I can't do that. I go to people who are capable of having those mechanisms. And they've asked that I should not go far here except to say that it's with them right now. Case number is very easy. Please, they say, you are free to call them. So I said, I think they're going to ask me about you guys. Because on Twitter they say, someone says, I'll believe Tokyo when I see a case number. We have it. We're going to give it. Last minute here, we told them, the police, because I must get clearance. I'm responsible, chief. I can't come here and then police of, there's Tokyo. They've taken out the case. I ask, can I say this in the press? As far as I've said, yes. Case number, no. Can they call you? Yes. Somebody asks, he says, where? Which police station? Not like that. The headquarters of the Hawks. We went to see General Lebeya, former Scorpion, the head advocate, General Lebeya. Take it there. If it leaks, it must leak with him. Because if I go to Hillbrook police station, I guess I'm out here, I know what will happen. And believe you me, if I wanted to expose any of these comrades so that we drag their entrails of these people, this is how we work. I'm not that thing. That's why I'm not Zondo. I expose these comrades, because some of these things we've got to test them. I'm just saying this is the situation. That number is not an allegation. Follow the money. I'm not joining dots here, because dots will come with all sorts of funny schemes here. And these are my comrades. I didn't go out to scandalize them and so on. But it's only when somebody scams the public and says, I've been scammed. You scam others, you scam me also. Then I say, but you're scamming the public. That's why I'm here. And I'm not here behind a Twitter or a press statement which is issued unsigned. I'm here in the manner that I know Tokyo has been trained. Direct. So you can shoot at me when I'm being stabbed at the back. I've been scammed by my own. And they scam the public by saying things. And people are concealing. And these are people who are in the crime scene itself. Is it not interesting that Governor Leseja Kaya has not yet spoken? And the person who is not the governor, who's the former governor, is the one sending his DG and himself. Leseja is dignified. Whatever he has done, or whatever happened under his watch, Leseja Kaya has not yet said a thing. I don't know what he himself has done, because he's the head of the bank. Things were happening in his bank under his watch. How much did he know? I have had a meeting with him. We did things and we were surprised. I gave him documents and they disappeared. He also disappeared. When I donated money to Gloria Serebe, I wrote to him, I'll authenticate and I'll revert. You know, there's a certain sense of botu. Even though you also, sometimes you can't find it. But when I go to Ubuntu corner, this company, others is just Zamtelele. One. What do I do? You see, and people are stabbing one another. They go to that Zondo commission to squeal against one another and so on. I'm not like that. Please, I just want to call me anything. Throw all the brickbats at Tokyo. I'm tough. I take these things. I tell you, tough. If you want to engage in this issue, I'll engage. I'm not going to hide behind a spokesperson, find my DG to talk for me. I don't do those things. That's why I'm here. You're a journalist, man. People think you're my spokesperson. But listen, they draft these statements.
You have so many cell phone numbers.
Who's that?
You.
On the Twitter?
No, you have multiple cell phone numbers.
On the Twitter?
I mean, my wish is that you have easy access to you. What's your single cell phone number?
It's here.
Okay.
No, they're not many, Chief. Now, let me tell you, they're not many. How can I lie to you? I give you permission, go to Vodacom and say, how many does he have? There are 2.
Okay.
And I've just joined, what is this thing? I never had WhatsApp. I've just joined WhatsApp. On a light note, and please let me go and zoom.
My second question.
On a light note, before second, I want to
Have you
say.
met the donors? That was my second question.
With the proxy, not the donor. The donor is a private person. I don't have to meet with.
Okay.
When I'm running the big hundreds of billions of JP Morgan Chase, I don't meet the shareholders. When I'm running Velapanda, there are many people putting. I don't meet you. I just want money here. I don't drink coffee with shareholders of companies I invest in right now. I don't want to see them. What will they do for me? But if I'm the owner, it's not a secret, by the way. Let me put another thing. I thought you missed the question. Who's this person? He's anonymous. You see, in a church, he's not secret. He's anonymous. When they push money for collection, they say, "Cring." There's a woman who donates You can even hear one penny dropping. And then a Pharisee will stand up and say, I put so much in that thing. There are people, and a number of you, maybe you put more 50 rands when people in these churches are putting 1 rand and so on. When you put more, you don't stand up and say, but there are people who do that. I have put so much. There are people who are, you may find that you have had scholarships from funds from Tokyo. Quite often people get surprised and say, oh, Tokyo was anonymous. I put a lot of money. I've done so. Anonymous. Because you don't know. Of course, one of the things is to protect these anonymous donations. You protect yourself. You don't know what happens to when you have money. And people just take it. Once they donate lemon, he bought a coffin. Hey, it just travels. So Bill Gates announces money, but many other people, rich families, go to something called the Global Philanthropic Circle. I'm part of that circle. They don't usually, their companies are public, but their private money is private money. However, I said private, anonymous, but private, but not secret. The owner is known to Interpol, is known to the World Bank, is known to the IMF, is known to here in South Africa, is known to me, not meeting personally, I don't have to meet with him, but obviously when I travel to that country, we'll be able to see one another. Okay? So we deal with Mr. Leon. Thank you, sir. Now I want you to please don't ask questions. Let me make you help me. I have 8 accounts on Twitter that I don't know. And they have been saying things. Chief, you are not listening. You are looking for my number now there. They have been saying things. I want to open a Twitter account. And I want to call it scammed. Because I can't lose this word, because this word is marketing. This is a very big name, you see. If I put that one, they'll follow. I think you'll follow it. So you'll be my follower. When it's scammed, so that official Twitter account of Tokyo must be something to do with don't scam me, I'm scammed, I won't scam. But they must be scammed because this word is now very popular in South Africa and I can't let other people take it. I'm going to think about it, but my daughter said, you can't have a Twitter account. Maybe I should. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming.
Mr. Sexwale, just a quick one. Are you able to reveal how much you're getting out of all of this?
Yes. I get fees. I've not yet got my fees because the money must come first.
How much percent?
How much?
What is the percent?
Luna. Let's put it like this. The money is not yet in. You don't get paid zeros, you get paid percentage. In the agreement, there is a percentage. But wait, let's have another time. Tokyo Sexwale will speak. And it's very easy. How much you get paid to you? Now, tell me. How much you get paid? See, when people say how much you get paid, so how much do I get paid? There is a percentage that I derive, and as well as they are equal with Mr. Otiko. It's not important, but at the right time I'll tell you.
Is it a percent or less than a percent?
No, it's just